Hi there, everyone. Well, I started this flower basket of flowers, drew it out first in part one. I drew it out, and then in part one, I did what you see here. And I'm going to finish, a lot of it off camera. But now I'm coming to part two, where I'm going to do this basket. So we're gonna wet the basket. This is basically a wet-on-wet type of a painting. So we're just gonna wet the area of the painting. And what I'm going to do first is put a very light wash of a color first. That's what I'm going to do first. So I'm just taking some, I'll probably take have some light and some darker, whoops. And I'm going to just go around the things I have, because the colors that when I go to the greens and so forth, it'll go over it anyways. So if you get some on it, it's okay. I'm going to add some different colors here and there to kind of vary it up a little. The basket has many colors. This paper is really soaking up this paint. I could have done the basket first, but I didn't. You can, if you like. All in your preference of what you want to do. And I'm using a round brush, which I could have and probably should have, but it doesn't have to be that way. Flat. That's all right. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. Okay, so we want to get that. And then I'm going to come in with some burnt sienna, I think it is. And no, we need something darker than that. Okay. We'll do burnt sienna and brown. And it's kind of like just lines that kind of like this. And I'm not being too precise if I go out of, the lines, because it's a basket. And so it's going to look a little rough, So. Could also use some orange. I think I'm going to put a little orange into that brown. And I may have wanted to wait till it was a bit more dry, but I can always go back in this particular instance. Sometimes you can't, but for this I can. I can go back if I want to go back and do something. Whoop, too thick. There. Okay, that's a nice little design for the basket, I think. And this is the top part of the the basket, so it's under the flowers. So you want to have it a little darker, you know, because we're coming over to the light side here, so I won't put so much. That's cute. That's good. I like it. Kind of do some dry brushing here as well with some of this dark. And then we also want the, I like to add in other colors, like we will put in some orange in this, maybe even some kind of reddish, sort of, just kind of dance it around because it's, you know, we're not doing anything, we're not being real specific here on purpose, so. On purpose, just kind of dance in some things like that. And we want to make the bottoms. I'm just going to take a whole bunch of colors that I've got on my palette here and just mix them together to make a dark. We want it darker at the bottom there. So that's, oh yeah, and then, well, I want to do my, well, no, I don't have to. Okay, so let's go up to the top here where my, oh, too much, handle is. Let's see if I can get it a little lighter there. That's a little too dark. All right, so this is the, this is the handle. And again, I'm trying to be specifically not be real precise, because wicker things always have these little, you know, frayed pieces that, you know, look like they're, you know, coming off the wicker. So I'm trying to, using the water to sort of make some you see what I got there, to make it look like it's kind of frayed a little bit on purpose. That's a leaf. Okay. Anywhere where you would go under or around, or mostly under a leaf, something, you know, like this is underneath. It's going to be darker right next to it, okay? So, you know, like right in here, you know, it's going to be a bit darker. Here, it's going to be, it's right under the leaf. It's right here. It would be shadow, right? It would be casting a type of a shadow, and under the bottom part, because there's no, you know, light's not going to really hit the bottom part. So that's going to be a bit on the darker side underneath here. Let's see. Hard to find it within all the flowers. That's about all there is on that side. And then we're going to take a darker color, and we're going to have a similar pattern. Well, I just altered my own pattern. Well, anyway. That's a good one. Okay. Either way, it doesn't matter. For some reason or another, basket I did a little bit ago just came out and everything. Oh boy. Okay. No harm, no foul, believe me. I'm just going to take some of this white. Come up to the top on my side here where it's at the very top. Put in some white for some highlight up on there on the top handle. And as we know, watercolor dries lighter. So on your bottom sides here, And where there would be shadow, go ahead in and darken it up a little. Okay. Now see down here, this is already getting lighter. I'm going to come in with some darker colors again. And I'm going to come back and put the lines in again. I mean, you don't have to have them everywhere. There's light on this side, so it might kind of fade out a little over there. So yeah, that's pretty. And then of course this is the shade side. So let's get some darker right over here. And darken this up under the flowers here. But this is a little lighter, so we'll leave the top, some of those top areas lighter to get the light part in there. That's pretty. I think it's pretty. Let's see what the time is here. Well, we still got time. All right, so I'm going to even get a little more of the darker color. And right under here, right where it would be definitely shadow, right? Definitely would be shadow under here. So we want to depict that. You have to depict, you know, to some degree, things like that. Of course, if you're doing a really loose painting, well, it wouldn't be so important, but okay. Actually, we'll get some of that much darker. You have to go in and layer quite often in watercolor because it dries so much darker. Lighter, excuse me. I did acrylic painting for years. I mean, 40 years or more, and it took me a while, you know, to get used to the difference of, and the fact, you know, the idea that watercolor dries light, acrylic dries dark. Either way, it's layering, but sometimes I say it the other way. All right. So my main focus was to get, and what I'm going to do now is go back in with even some more dark here. And I want to accentuate some of the lines, not all of them. Especially on this right side, because on the right side, the light's coming down. Nice, so pretty. All right, we will leave that basket alone for now. And we'll come over here and wet this leaf. Decide what color you want the leaf. I think I'm gonna choose some blue with some yellow and some other colors. And change this up a little bit for a leaf color. This has the acrylic yellow in it. You see that beautiful tip? That's what allows this lovely painting like this. Oh, just love it. You can go back into leaves you've already painted if you want to add the color into there as well. Actually, I think I'm going to take this darker that's the design I was supposed to be doing. There, that's better. That's what it was supposed to be in the first place. Oh boy, gotta laugh at yourself. Okay. All right. You could add some brown darks into your, take some purples, put that in there, and do that. Leaves always have, you know, dark areas on them as well. Actually take some nice purple and, okay. Actually we'll take this yellow. Being that this is the light side, let's get a nice light highlighted fold right here happening. Oh, that didn't work out so well. Okay, hold on. All right. We'll there. Go over here to the white, put some highlights right on the top. We can kind of do that several different places to give the indication of the nice highlight that the sun is providing for us. For some reason, I don't like the looks of that, so I am going to just remove it all. There we go. And I am going to start over with that. I don't know what happened there. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Sometimes that happens, and just, you know, go back in and do something different. And sometimes you have a little trouble with with something, you know, it's just not coming out quite like you think, but no problem. You just keep working on it until you get the desired effect. I'll even add a little bit of this yellow. Actually, greenish yellow into this basket. And then we need to go back to the dark, and once again, I want some of these lines on this left side especially to be more pronounced. So we go back in. Under here we need it darkened again. Okay. And I think, folks, I think the basket's pretty much got that the way it looks nice. I'll let that kind of dry. And then what I'm going to do off camera is finish up the flowers and everything. So in part one, you'll see how, whoops, I gotta get the paint off there because of some acrylic. So that's another tip. If you use, I don't use different brushes for using the acrylics and the watercolor. I just make super sure that I have washed it out all the way, you know, and that everything works fine. So in the first number one, of course, we've got the starting from the drawing, so some flowers and leaves, and I'll finish the rest of them that way. And then I wanted to do the basket with you here and make sure that got done correctly. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can put in here. You could go to vermilion. Vermilion would actually look good because it's an orangey red. I think I'll do that right now while I'm thinking of it. So just come in and in different places where you think you'd see or like to see that color. And put it in, and that just, you know, gives another super colorful way about it, which is nice. Always nice. So now, and what I'm going to do is just myself, I am going to finish this whole thing off camera. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Check out part one. They will have the same titles, just you know, a different part. It'll say part one or part two. So check for that. And check out some of my other stuff at the same time. Try it for yourself, I hope. Zoom in, zoom out. And have a great and wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.